Can I start the presentation? All right. All right, here we go. Good afternoon, and what an honor it is to be part of the Future of Work Summit 2021. And the future of work looks bright. That is, if you believe the statistics of the World Economic Forum, as they predict that by 2025, only 85 million jobs will be lost due to automation. But that at the same time, 97 million new jobs will be created thanks to the robot revolution. Excellent. So if you are worried about the future of work, don't, as more jobs are being created than are lost. And thus a great future lies ahead for us all, or so it seems. Unless you look and believe some other sources who estimate that by 2030, more changes are expected than the previous 100 years, disrupting 800 million to 2 billion jobs due to emerging technologies, automation, robotization, digitization, datafication, and not to forget, climate change. That will make what we have experienced over the past 22 months look like a picnic in the park. Who to believe? It doesn't really matter. I'm sure that you, just like me, have come to realize that the world is changing fast and that we tend to underestimate the rate of change and are inclined to play down the effects of change on our lives, health, well-being, and work. However, what I think does matter and want to draw your attention to is whether or not you'll be ready to navigate the changes ahead for your future, or will you leave it all up to chance? Que sera, sera. Okay, I'm not here to talk about the future of work, nor if there are plenty of jobs to go around, or if the job you are doing now is on the chopping block or not. There are many other more experienced speakers at this summit that will address these topics. However, what I do want to talk about is change. I want to talk about how to navigate the changes ahead and avoid that the changes you are going to experience won't be detrimental to your health and well-being. In other words, I want to talk about why you should futurize yourself in function of your health and well-being. I want to empower you to be resilient enough for the demands of tomorrow, as my biggest wish is that you are able to flourish in the flow of evolution and thrive in this fast-changing world. I want to do this because personally and professionally, as an osteopath and a body-centered stress coach, I'm very concerned about the future of your health and well-being in this fast-changing world, and especially the current lack of consideration how you will cope with the increasing stress levels that all these changes, challenges, and opportunities will bring about. And this, while stress is already considered one of the biggest health problems worldwide. Stress, and I see this in my osteopathy practice every day, is directly or indirectly linked to neck and shoulder pain, heart disease, cancer, dementia, obesity, and yes, also COVID-19. But that is not all. Stress is also linked to mental health problems, including anxiety and depression, insomnia, mood changes, memory problems, learning difficulties, and impaired resilience and adaptability. Very disconcerting too is that stress over time can change the size of your brain. I'm not kidding. As stress changes blood circulation, this can actually lead to structural changes in your brain. For example, long-term stress can lead to an increased size of the amygdala, the key player in processing fear, while other parts of the brain, like the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex, actually shrink. And I do mean reduce in volume. Knowing that the hippocampus is related to memory and the prefrontal cortex responsible for cognition, planning, decision-making, and anticipation, I'm sure that you, just like me, can figure out and deduct some of the consequences this will have on you. And surely you can imagine that, for example, thinking about the future in a constructive way will be challenging, if not impossible. Your outdated stress response, which is very good in dealing with physical threats, hasn't evolved to deal with the more psychosocial, technological challenges of today, and for sure won't evolve fast enough for the demands of tomorrow. This conflict makes that the stress response, in my eyes, has become a stressor and a nuisance to your health and well-being. So I hope you understand why I'm very concerned about how you will cope and deal with all the changes and challenges ahead that will, without a doubt, increase your stress levels even further. The question is there a solution? Can you evolve on purpose and become more resilient for the changes of tomorrow? Well, I wouldn't be here talking to you if I thought there wasn't. But it will depend on your mindset and the decisions and choices you take and the actions you make going forward. A new, more proactive and futures-oriented mindset is needed to avoid that this fast-changing world will become a nuisance to your health, well-being, and your future. A wise man said once, you cannot solve your problems with the same thinking that created them. And that, I believe, is exactly what needs to happen. We need to adopt a new way to respond to the problems of tomorrow. Human evolution has been driven to respond to immediate physical threats. But now that our environment is evolving faster than we are, and the threats to our existence have changed, our body's natural reaction to danger, led by the stress response that prepares you to fight and flight, doesn't protect nor prepare you for the challenges of tomorrow. For the challenges of tomorrow, we need to learn and implement on purpose new and more proactive management approach that prepares us for tomorrow's situations ahead of time by taking responsibility for your future rather than turning a blind eye to it or to wait for things to unfold. You have the potential to learn and develop this proactive futures mindset. You can learn and develop it through exploring your future on purpose. And that will change or not change. Create scenarios for your future. Envision what you want and don't want, and then change forward by making decisions and actions to create what the future you want into an ongoing reality. I call that process futurizing yourself. Purposely and proactively and on purpose, incorporating futures thinking into your decisions, choices, and actions to change forward and create a great future for yourself. And yourself, I mean for you and others. Why this will help you evolve on purpose? Well, because the way you see the future, so you act. As you act, so you become. Dear participants of the Future of Work Summit, the future doesn't just happen. Unlike the past that has come and gone, The future is always in the making and created right here, right now, with every decision and choice you make and through the actions you take. The future of work, your future, and the future of humanity is about human transformation. And what is needed to cope and navigate this fast-changing world is to have a proactive mindset, to unlock your potential within before it is needed. So I ask you, what the future do you want? Do you want to be ready for the future, the workforce of tomorrow, and ready to be able to navigate the changes ahead? Well, and have a great future. And with a great future, I mean a future, a good future, a future where you are resilient, not only in body, mind, and spirit, but also able to adapt and navigate all the changes ahead. A future where you evolve and grow into the best version of yourself. An actionable future where your actions lead you to flourish and thrive. And not to forget, a future that transcends your limiting beliefs, serves the greater good and future generations. Then become very good at futurizing yourself. Start to take time to zoom out and explore the future from a broader perspective. Ask yourself, what the future do you want? Start exploring how emerging technologies, climate change, datafication, automation, and robotization will impact you and the people around you. Create scenarios of the future and see what you can and need to do, learn and implement henceforth to navigate the changes and challenges ahead. And make sure to mind your body before your body reminds you. In other words, take enough time proactively to manage your health and well-being, which are key to your success and a great future. Neither past nor present, but the future has become the key to thriving and flourishing in this fast-changing world. As without the future, there is no meaning and purpose to life. And remember, the future is built on the decisions and choices you make, the actions you take or not take, and the time left you to make a difference. Dear participants of the Future of Work Summit, the next 5 years to 10 years will bring more change than the previous 100 years. These changes will have major implications on every aspect of your life, work, and your health and well-being. How you will cope with all of these changes, challenges, and increased stress levels, well, that will depend on how well you futurized yourself in function of your health and well-being. This means adopting a proactive mindset, zooming out and spending time exploring and creating future scenarios, incorporating futures thinking by aligning your decisions, choices, and actions with the future you want or don't want. And whatever you do, to mind your body before your body reminds you. Remember, the way you see the future, so you act. As you act, so you become. The future doesn't just happen. It's created through your decisions, choices, and actions. The future of your health and well-being is in your hands. Make it a great one. Make it a great one starting today. Your future self and future generations will thank you for it. Rest me to say, enjoy the rest of this summit. Connect with me if you want to learn more about futurizing yourself, to share your thoughts, or just for a chat. And whatever you do, be good to you. Be good to your future, always. Thank you for inviting me. Teşekkürler. Okay, I can actually explain some of these questions that we are asking, apparently. So I believe that question about it's, how much time does it take to change the mindset? First of all, we need to be aware and understand what needs to happen. And then we have to start imagining the future we want, and then start to implement the changes in our daily routines. And it will be a question of falling and getting up. It's about repetition. We need to continuously work on it because it's very difficult to overcome, our biology that is primed to react and not proact. This is the challenge. Stress is about reactivity. Something happens, you react. But if you're looking at today's challenges, in most people's worlds. It's not physical threats that we are challenging our survival, but now it's about, you know, what is coming to us, and it's coming so fast, and we underestimate that. So if we don't do something today about climate change, for example, then the time that actually is happening, that it has been realized, then to react, it's going to be too late. So we need to do that today by repetition, by being mindful of that future, and by, no matter what we do, to include the future into our decisions, choices, and actions, to that image. I'm not talking about living in the future. We live here, right now. But we need to know where we want to go, what we want and what we don't want, and what we want to avoid, because today, through our decisions, choices, and actions, we can actually change that. So I believe that it is an ongoing process. It's not something that just switches overnight, but once you start doing it and you keep repeating it and you start seeing the benefits of it, the benefits to your health and well-being, but also because you're prepared for the changes that are coming and for the challenges, that you will keep on doing it. For me, it's a lifetime process. I've been doing this for the last 21 years. And it's not, and I can't say that just one night or the other, it happens. So the techniques and tools for the mind shift change. Basically, the best tools that you have is to have a little bit of an idea from where are you coming from, and when you're here, you know, where do you come from? What's your background? And have a clear idea that some of the things you believe might actually not be true. So you need to change some of the perspective. When I started to futurize myself, I was actually suicidal and depressed. I had a small shop selling charcuterie and cheese. I was unhappy, and I hadn't really found what drove me. I hadn't found my potential. I hadn't really found that within me that there was a therapist, a speaker, a researcher, a traveler. So through questions, and I can send you those if you want, that are written in my book, Futurize Yourself, I was able to then find my potential. So first thing is, you need to have a narrative of your past and probably change that, because good for nothing, that's probably what I thought about myself. And somebody told me, well, but you can good at being at something. So I needed that shift first, so the past. And the second shift was, I needed to find my potential, find the talents that you're born with. And then the third step is to imagine a future 5 to 10 years from now, where that potential is developed, where you see that as an ongoing reality into your life. Then you need to also see from, okay, this is what I want my future to be. How does this connect with the changes that are happening? For example, have a look at replacedbyrobots.org, which is a website where you can see that if your job of today is actually being robotized or automated, and the percentage of that. So replacedbyrobots.org. And then, because you need to know that the job that you are imagining for your future, that it's actually relevant, that it's not going to be phased out. And that's why it's very important to project your future in a sort of a way that it is more on principles. For me, it was, I wanted to, you know, I had in me a therapist, so I was going to be a therapist. But a therapist, today I'm an osteopath, but tomorrow I can be something different doing therapy. So it needs to be flexible enough to be able to navigate the changes ahead. So imagining a narrative for your future that is strong enough to withstand some of the changes due to digitization and robotization. And I would even say climate change. What is that? Start thinking about that. Start thinking about, where do you come from? And you might need to change some of the perspectives you have. Some things, you know, that transcend those limiting beliefs, find what you're made for, find your potential within, and then project that potential to the future. Imagine a life where you are in your element, doing what you're made to do, and see how these elements can be influenced by the robotization and digitization, and start on realizing that work step by step from now on. So it's in a way that's called backcasting. So you imagine the future, then you come back to today and start thinking, okay, wow, I really want to be content, fulfilled, and happy. And I know that I want to be, I know I shall be content, fulfilled, and happy if I can do this part, or I can express this potential in me. And then today, are you doing that potential already? Are you having that potential in your life? Are you doing something of that? Or do you want to grow that? Or do you need to learn a new skill? I needed to learn a complete new skill. I was trained as a chef. I had worked in hotels and restaurants. I never imagined that I was going to be a therapist. But until I discovered that there was a therapist in me, it was evident that was what I was going to do. So basically, there is past, present, and future. Futurizing yourself is not only about the future. It's also learning from the past, in the present, finding your potential within, finding what makes you tick, what makes you passionate, to imagine that into the future, and then starting to live your life according to that. By potential is what can be developed over time. So very important. So I'm looking through this talk. All right. But my recent discoveries, and I've implemented that into this presentation, is that importance of neither the past nor the present, but the future is the key to our existence. And with that, I really want to say that because our future, due to, for example, let's say climate change or robotization, digitization, it really is in danger. Our survival is in danger. Is that what we really want? No. I think we want to have a great future, a good future where we are resilient, where we can deal with the changes ahead. We are made to deal with changes, but of course we can only handle so much, and if we are not prepared for the changes, that is going to hurt us, and it's going to cause a lot of heartache. And of course, you want to evolve. I can't imagine somebody who doesn't want to grow and become better, and then also actionable. You'll do the things that are possible. I can't imagine. So if I imagine myself being a mathematics teacher in the future, well, it will make me sick because I'm not very good in mathematics. But I'm very good in therapy. Oh, that's interesting. So start doing the things that also are linked with your potential, because that will support your health and well-being. When you start doing things that are outside of your potential, of course, it will create more stress. And it will serve nobody, because you get stressed. Then, of course, your illnesses can set in. You change behavior. You become more short-tempered. That doesn't serve anybody. So that's why I come back to this: find your potential within. Find what makes you tick. Because why are you here? It's probably to express that. And the more that you express that, the more you are in your element, the better it is for your health and well-being. It still will be challenging, but it will be meaningful and challenging. And it will have a sense. When we have a sense, when we can put a sense to something that happens, well, we have more tools within, we have much more potential or much more drive in us to actually continue doing it. And that I do agree, Basak, the challenges is to futurize ourselves in collectives. That's why I'm saying, and you futurize your health and well-being. Futurize, you see, your is Y''our. It means you and our. Individual doesn't work, when we, and unfortunately, stress makes us very individual. Stress is all about me and not the others. It's my survival, not the others. Or maybe my survival and the one from close to me, but not others. That's why it's also so important to be able to manage stress levels and to be resilient, because then we become more we have more attention to the collective. Look at how COVID-19 is spread. Somebody somewhere in this planet had a behavior that has influenced me. That person probably be dead by now, yes? But somebody's behavior, and I believe that they didn't wake up one morning and say, I'm going to change the world, but they did. Imagine that, that every one of us is connected with everybody else on this world. And, just implement that so that make it a good one, make it a great future, not only for yourself, but also for others. I think our time is up. I thank you very much for having me on the Future of Work Summit. Please connect with me on LinkedIn, for example, or visit my website if you want to continue this conversation. In the links on my website, there is also some free stuff that you can download, where you can find the questions and where you can download the first chapter and many articles and podcasts that I've spoken to. So please go there and find the information that you need. And if you still have some questions, contact me. You can pick my brain, as a good friend of mine says. And I wish you all a very good day and a very good continuation of the Future of Work Summit and the Skills Fest. Thank you very much.